Never put things in the microwave for too long, guys. That did not sound good. Luckily, everything is still pretty much eatable. Alright, let's get into this video. So, as you could probably tell from that opening sequence, a little cinematic, kind of like just for fun, like B-roll thing, I didn't use a gimbal for any of it. It might not have been obvious the whole time, but as you got towards the end, you could probably see me like doing the shots where I was holding the camera and grabbing things, like touching my microwave and pulling things in and out. That was all done handheld, or setting the camera down on something. No tripods even, just straight up camera. Just use the camera and the lens. That's all I used. So, do you need a gimbal? I have 4 gimbals, and I can definitely tell you that you don't. For the average filmmaker, you don't really need a gimbal unless you're doing long shoots where you want stable footage the entire time, and especially if you're walking. If you can take a shot where you're standing still in a place, you don't really need a gimbal. Like, if you wanted to do like B-roll of like these gimbals, let's just say, I don't have a camera over here, so this is my camera, this drone controller, right? So yeah, I just want to, I don't need a gimbal for taking B-roll of a gimbal would be definitely excessive. But just for taking B-roll things where you can like get your hands in, a gimbal can't fit like close to objects, so you can get a lot cooler shots when you're like pulling your camera through things, putting it over, and doing all these creative shots that you can't really achieve with a gimbal. These gimbals, they have tons of incredible features like, oh yeah, the barrel roll thing, and the follow focus, and then all these things, but when you look at it at the end of the day, is it really practical for what you use? That's really what I want to talk about today. So, gimbals are incredible tools for what I do. Professionally, I do real estate videography, and I do videography for my church as well as photography, and I use gimbals for that. But for conventional, like, just everyday videography, I don't really use a gimbal because they sometimes get in the way of having creative footage. And especially if your gimbal has like is finicky and has problems, or it just doesn't work well some days. Like even the Moza Aircross is the one I use the most. That thing will glitch out sometimes. No gimbal is perfect, and these are all phenomenal gimbals. And if you do need a gimbal for what you do, like if you're a real estate videographer, someone who takes video of people, event videographer, you would want that. But if you're like starting out and you think, oh yeah, in order to be a great videographer, I need a gimbal. I need to spend $750 on a gimbal. No. I actually got this one was a Christmas gift, but it originally would sell for $400, the Moza Aircross. This thing, my grandparents were able to get it for me for like $250. So even if you want a gimbal, you don't really need the newest or the latest, because this thing is actually almost 3 years old now, the Moza Aircross, and it's phenomenal. I love it. There are people that gimbals are for, and there are people that gimbals are not for. Like, the average filmmaker, yeah, you're a YouTuber. If you want to like hyperlapses, and that's your thing, and you're not doing handheld hyperlapses, sure, get a gimbal. They're great. But then if you're just someone who is a professional videographer, if you are making money off of doing videography for something and you need to have stable footage that you can walk around like in a house, for me, which is what I do, I'm just gonna go off of what I do. I walk around in houses with my camera on one of these gimbals, and I'm like, ooh, yep, push in, pull out, nothing too fancy. I use it for just casual filmmaking and just for stuff, because what I've seen a lot of people do on YouTube is, they have the gimbals and they do the barrel roll thing and they just do it forever. And it's just barrel roll after barrel roll and then all these weird trippy shots that sometimes simpler is better. It's not always better. There's always creative, like, it's all about what you want to make, of course. But you don't always need a gimbal to create it. So that's just what this video is about. If you want to buy a gimbal, go ahead. Sure, I'm actually trying to sell the DJI Osmo Mobile 2 and the AK2000 because I never use them. They're just in the middle of what I have. So this is my just everyday gimbal, and this is my, if I need something really powerful, I use that one. I don't have any use for this, so if you're interested, shoot me an email. I don't know. Anyways, it doesn't matter. Basically, it's all about, at the end of the day, creative preference, and if you really, really want a gimbal and you really need it for what you do, then you buy it. If you don't see yourself using the gimbal all the time, like I got a gimbal, I used it a ton for like the first 2 months. Then I would use it once every so often, and then I realized that I don't actually really need it to get creative shots. Sometimes it actually gets in the way because it's big, they're cumbersome, and you're like, oh, trying to get it through narrow places and it can't go through, and then you're trying to get shots low to the ground and it all glitches out. And sometimes it looks robotic too. So like there's all these great gimbals are great if you keep it simple. That's just the way I feel about it. I'm sure you can I've seen people create amazing things with gimbals. They're not bad in any way whatsoever. These are all fantastic gimbals. I've said that before. I just feel like I should make it known that if you're waiting to get a gimbal before you start doing like creative work with your camera or stuff, don't wait. Get out there, shoot something. You know, you don't need a gimbal. You can shoot handheld, even if you don't have 60 frames per second or even a high frame rate. Like you don't need that. The first for the opening sequence of this video, until like the last 3 clips, those are all 24 frames per second. The last 2 were 60, and I forgot to switch the frame rate back to 24 until I clicked the camera on. But yeah, you don't need a gimbal. You can make great stuff without a gimbal. And honestly, what I did at the beginning of the video wasn't that great. I threw it together in like 20 minutes. So if I actually put time and effort into it, it would probably look a lot better. And it's all about creative craft. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to drop a like and subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace!